Hello, hello, and welcome back to Password, everyone. We're just trucking along in Sal's route now, aren't we? We finished making sandwiches and put them in the refrigerator for later. On before making... before heading upstairs. I felt a little better, if equally uncertain for what the future may bring. The moment we stepped into the rec room, I noticed Tyson and Haas in the middle of some discussion about something Haas had on his phone. What about this one? Her outfit is stupid. Her sleeves don't even attach to the rest of her clothes. I'll have you know that outfit is classic Shrine Maiden stuff. Though I prefer the one that said fuck it to the sleeves entirely. You know, the one with horns. Oh, you like the Oni? The what? Dave, please say you're here to watch a movie, cause if I get shown one more girl in stupid clothes, I'm gonna punch something. Maybe don't go being violent. Big dog just can't help it, can he? What do you mean? Haas razzed Ty further by aggressively rubbing a spot between his ears. Oh, no, that's cute. Hopping up before Tyson could get a hold of him. Sorry we took so long. We were making lunch. Already? The fuck are you making lunch for? Just something to do while I had other stuff to do. You're such a dork. But fine. We can at least get started now. Yeah. I think so. As long as Haas is done showing you whatever it was. Oh yeah, he's done. Even if he says otherwise. Alright, fine. But we're only putting a pin in this, because I swear you need to pick one before it's too late. I don't even remember this happening. Oh. Yeah, the freezer thing. Okay, yeah. Day 16, you do, like, other investigation stuff, right? Day 17 is Thanatos. Or is day 18 Thanatos? I don't remember anymore. It's been, like, a whole few weeks since Roswell's route ended for me. Like... When I entered, though, it was quiet and empty, and neatly folded clothes set beside his bed on the floor. His bed folded back, ready for whatever was meant to sleep in it. Sal? Wandering over to the bed, I sat down with a sigh, figuring that he'd taken Orlando to his room and was trying to settle him down. He was like a brother to him, after all, so if he was upset, well... Wordlessly, he entered his room, closing the door gently behind him. Ready for bed. Ready for bed. I don't think I'm going to be sleeping much tonight. The road's out, everything's only getting worse, and just... I feel so powerless. I wouldn't say powerless, just unfortunately involved in what's going on. Even then, I think sometimes life throws curveballs like this. But what's going to happen next? Sal wandered closer to the bed, placing a hand on my shoulder. First, you're going to get in that bed and get comfortable. And then? Then, I'll also get in the bed and get comfortable. It's not much, but if it'll help you sleep, you're welcome to stay. I know I'll sleep better with you around. But why? Are you scared as well? I got under the covers, already having decided that this was where I was going to spend the night. I wouldn't say scared, but concerned, definitely. But there's not really much we can do about it until morning. He doubled back to turn off the lights before climbing into the bed with me and stretching out, his joints cracking a little bit as he yawned. You sound more tired than anything else.
I suppose I am. But I'm glad we had our chat today.
Carefully, he took my hand in his and gave me a gentle squeeze. He he turned and faced me, flashing me a warm smile.
It's something I'd like. It's moments like these that really make me feel at peace. They feel right.
I returned a smile and squeezed his hand back, finding myself yawning immediately after. Yeah. Rolling me closer to him, Sal cradled me close beside him, not on top of him like before, but against his front while he lay on his side as he were a wall between me and the door. You think things are going to be better in the morning? He shifted a little, bumping the end of his snout against my forehead and leaving it there.
I know they will. In the meantime, sleep well, Dave.
You too, Sal. Cuddling into him a little closer, I soon found myself falling asleep in the soft rumbling coming from his chest. No, excuse me. Okay. I woke up right where I remember falling asleep, cradled by Sal, although our position had changed slightly. There was no hiding the fact that his hand was squarely on my butt, firmly keeping me held against him. Nothing more than that, but it was an immediate way of being held, an intimate way of being held that I just wasn't used to. Even with him asleep, it felt odd, but a good kind of odd. Even with how Orlando and I cuddled up, it was just different. Beyond that, he was perfectly still, shy of a gentle rise and fall of his chest to indicate breathing. It was innocent, and I wondered briefly if he even knew I was there. As I pulled myself away from him to sit up, he seemed to mumble something under his breath, but beyond that, remained oblivious. Getting up, I threw on some clothes and rubbed my face. My mind was still racing with everything going on, and I needed to clear my head, at least if I wanted any chance of getting some more rest later. Good. Interesting. We'll get there. Wow, my throat is dry. Kinda sucks.
Excuse me. I've been meaning to ask something. Ask what? Which one is, Swoopy N?
What?
Pardon?
That one came out. Wait, the one we found at the pool? Swoopy. Oh, you mean Capricorn, right?
Perhaps.
Why was it just a Swoopy N?
Will you please stop calling it that?
The left side is like the goat horn, and the swoopy part would be the curled tail. Simple, right?
I'm glad that we can put this behind us and never speak of it again.
Did it really bother you that much?
No.
I quickly looked away, figuring it was best to drop the subject as much as I didn't really understand what had just happened. I wandered into the foyer, wondering where I should be looking for these medals, or even beyond that, if I wanted to look for medals at all. But it was when a gentle touch grabbed my wrist that I snapped to attention and looked to see who grabbed my hand as I recovered.
We have to stick together.
I nodded slowly, remembering what had happened only moments before.
You really do need a rest day.
I suppose so. But that's what the medal finding is for, right? To keep us busy? He continues to stare, sizing me up almost. The longer he did, the more I started to clue in as to what I'd said, and what he was wanting to say in kind. Or we could do a rest day.
I'm not going to force you to do anything, Dave. I just don't want to see you burn out because you've been giving yourself a chance to breathe. You're not giving yourself a chance to breathe.
What should we do then? If we don't do something, then I'll probably keep wondering about what's happening outside.
We can hunt for metals, but I'd suggest we do that while we do something else at the same time.
Like what? A movie is out because then we wouldn't really be searching.
Plus, Orlando seems to be heading to the rec room already.
Plus, okay, well, what if we grab Dean and go search somewhere else? He seems to shift, uncomfortable at the idea for some reason.
Dean has to stick close to Hoss and Tyson. He's going to have his hands full already. I think trying to wrangle those two, along with finding something he can unwind with while they do dog and cat things.
What's that supposed to mean? I snickered a little bit at that thought, but resigned the point. All right, well, then it's just you and me. What did you want to do?
Would you like to go to the gym?
Why the gym? Exercise sucks.
All right, no gym. But there's a reason beyond exercise. Sucking.
I sighed, throwing my hands up. I guess I'm just lazy. Putting in physical effort is hard.
All right, then how about this? Do you trust that I know what I'm doing in the gym?
Yeah, I would say you know what you're doing.
Good, 'cause we're going to the gym.
He started leading me downstairs before I could kick up much of a fuss about it, caught in a daze by the sudden decision. With a gentle click, he closes the door behind us so we could have some privacy, it seems, as he was already pulling off his shirt.
All right, you want some you might want to take off that hoodie. A shirt too, maybe.
But why?
Because I'm going to get you to do something, and I feel like it might help.
Are you sure? I'm not really dressed for exercise.
You'll be fine with what you want, with what we want to do. If you're that uncomfortable taking off more, but it should be fine just without the hoodie.
Grumbling, I did what he said, also pulling off my shirt to copy how dressed he was. So, what's the thing? He wanders over to a large punching bag to the side, and patted it gently.
I want you to punch this.
That's... why, though? Before he'd given me an answer, I wandered over to join him, sizing up the bag while he seemed to find the words.
I was thinking about the concept of a rest day, and what that means. You don't really exercise all that much, and a lot of what's been happening has been running on, loafing around.
We're on vacation. I'm allowed to be lazy. He shook his head, bracing himself against the bag.
Yes, you are, but you need to keep your mind at rest. You're a hyena. Your ancestors are cunning, savage hunters, capable of impressive physical feats. Being physical is going to help clear your mind, more than searching for metals will.
Grumbling, I give a half-hearted punch to the bag, sighing out. You're thinking spotted hyenas. I'm striped.
I was led to believe you were mixed, or is that wrong?
No, Dad was spotted and Mom was striped, but, what does that matter?
So, you're more like your mother.
My eyes narrowed a little. I'd be compared to Dad a whole bunch and took pride in it, but it was rare for someone to compare me to Mom. I didn't know how it made me feel, but something felt off. I'm more like my dad.
Are you sure? He was a police officer, and part of that was being active. He worked out at the gym we met at, right? You're just a couch potato.
I frowned, slamming the bag a little harder as I scowled at him. I'm not. Roswell and Orlando are much more like couch potatoes.
So why the hesitation? Punch the bag.
I did it again. Not as hard as the last time, but the frown didn't leave my face. I don't like punching the bag.
Give me a reason why, Dave. Tell me why you don't like punching the bag.
Before I could hit it again, I sighed out, flexing my hand. Because I just don't. I don't like anger. I don't like being angry. No response came from Sal when I glanced his way, although he made no effort to stand away from the bag. I don't like thinking that I can be someone that does violent things. Bad guys do violent things. I'm a good guy.
Is Tyson a good guy?
The question made me freeze, and I stare at the bag, wondering.
Remember, violence is just applied force.
When I didn't move, he continued.
I want you to imagine this bag as someone or something that you hate. Dave, I want you to pretend that bag is evil.
My brow furrowed further as I took in the surface of the bag, and I found myself quickly jabbing it again the moment Jack crossed my mind.
Good. Now what makes you hate this thing?
I hate that I can't go outside. Again, I punched the bag, and again, with every comment I made with a growing intensity. I hate that I feel powerless. I hate that he got the better of me.
Let it out, Dave.
This would have been a fun vacation otherwise. Then the thing with the vaults and the dying. I'm sick of it. Just let me have some peace. I'd stopped punching it near the end, baring my claws, ready to maul the bag in front of Sal, before I realized how riled up I was getting. My heart was beating quickly in my chest, and I was out of breath. Rather than go at it with my claws, I clenched my fist and threw one last punch, impacting the bag a little too hard and yelping as I pulled my hand away.
Are you all right?
Just went a little too hard there. Shaking it off, I jabbed the bag again, although a little less enthusiastically.
Sometimes
I just wish I wasn't so weak, you know. Exercise just reminds me of that, and I avoid it.
You're strong in other ways.
Yeah, but that's... Excuse me. Yeah, but that's not going to keep me alive, Sal. The comment had made him uncomfortable. I could tell it in the way he shifted his stance and pulled his gaze away from me.
It might, but the alternative is training, even if it reminds you of your worst traits.
Yeah, well,
it works for Tyson. Oh, anyway, becoming friends with Haas, opening up about his problems. He didn't say much when he arrived, but whenever those two are together, they're just chatting away.
Do you reckon they might, date?
I don't think so. Mostly, I just think those two have found someone they can unwind around and enjoy the company of.
Part of that made me feel strange, as if I was lacking in some way, given how long Tyson had only had me to talk to. Was I a bad brother?
Some people just need something specific in a friend, for them to be like that with. Dean's like that with me. And I can promise there's zero interest in us dating each other.
Then who's that person for me?
Only you'd know that. Orlando, maybe. Roswell is an option. Maybe what you had with Tyson could also work.
Grimacing at the thought that I collapsed against the punching bag while Sal continued to support its weight. Is it normal to feel flawed?
I would say so. Yes.
He patted the punching bag and stepped back, scratching his chin.
But feeling flawed just means you have room to grow. You have things left to learn.
Oh, sorry, excuse me.
I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to just be perfect, if that makes sense.
But think about it. But think about not having to worry about anything if you were perfect. Things would just be awesome all the time, right?
You have to factor in everyone else too. If the people around you aren't perfect either, they'll already make enough imperfections that being perfect won't matter.
Is that why you like me? Because I'm imperfect?
Not exactly, but yes. You're imperfect in the perfect way.
I giggled to myself, having spoken without realizing that what I'd said until Sal had already replied. As I did, it seemed to click as to what he'd responded to.
That was not very nice, Dave.
I'm sorry. I just knowing that I was liked, faults and all, just felt nice.
Do you like me for mine as well?
Kinda.
What do you mean?
I I don't like to think of them as flaws. They're just differences.
Go on.
Look, you're bigger, green. I chuckled nervously, scratching my head and not really knowing where else to go with what I'd originally been thinking. I guess what I'm saying is that I like that we're the same but different.
Ah, okay.
He seemed to take that well, but I wasn't sure. Frowning, I leaned against the punching bag and almost fell over without Sal supporting it still. I mean, you get it, right? I like you for you.
I know what you mean, Dave. Don't worry. The feeling is mutual.
He reaches out and places his hand between my ears atop my head, not rubbing, and just letting it sit there with that smile on his face. Hagu. I wandered in and wrapped my arms as best I could around his middle, and he quickly returned the hug, now gentle patting my head. There wasn't anything that needed to be said here. We understood, and that was enough. When we broke away, Sal looked around the gym again before turning to me.
Do you feel a little better working your body?
A little. Sal nodded to himself, starting to wander away to look at another machine, but I stopped him by grabbing him, much like he'd done for me in the foyer. Thanks, Sal, for this.
You're welcome.
We continued until lunch, where we took a break and then spent the afternoon in the conservatory. At one point, Sal gave me a massage. This is an A. Okay. As I watched the world pass by from the window. Half expecting to see Jack or something else emerge, but nothing did. And then we played cards, with Dean stopping by to check in on us, needing a short break from Haas, before going back to his designated partner. We invited him to stay, but for safety reasons, he resigned himself to being talked to about anime until dinner. I felt bad, but Sal was quick to remind me that Dean would benefit from learning to deal with people like Haas. He was likely going to have a nephew someday, and this was something like practice. Okay. I think I'll end the part here, everyone, so I'll see you around.